just my love for the hobby and what I do returning as I drop everything else.
That's pretty good. I would say that for me, my personal biggest mistake on my channel is that I don't post enough, and I'm aware of that. But I'd say for other creators, I think a big trap that a lot of small creators fall into is that they'll try to like get a bunch of different sponsors, or they'll try to get the money before they fix like the actual reason why the money is not coming. So I feel like for me, a mistake I made was like I tried to get a sponsor here and a sponsor here, like 3 sponsors, so that I could support myself to make content. But then my content ended up just being what the sponsors wanted me to make. So I feel like you have to sort of, I fell in this trap for years of probably taking on too many sponsors, doing too much product reviews, like focusing on, in my opinion, like the money first and like the smaller, like that's like the money is always going to be there for sponsorships. But I think if you focus on making intrinsically really good content that gets a lot of views, then you'll attract bigger sponsors regardless, and you'll be able to make enough from your ad rev. Because I don't know. I think a lot of people don't focus enough on how to better their content, and they're focusing too much on like, oh, how can I get all these sponsors? So, yeah.
Anybody that knows me thinks they know what my answer is gonna be here, and you would be wrong. My biggest mistake was not wanting to learn how this game is played. And I know it sounds trivial to classify it as a game, but it really is. It's not a game, but it's learning how the system works. I had people like this joker over here giving me advice back in 2013, and I was like, he don't know what he's talking about. I never said that. I just didn't listen. But that was a huge mistake, thinking I knew everything, thinking I knew what needed to be done. But in the end of the day, I knew really nothing. And all I was doing, like you were talking about, was just putting out stuff just to put out stuff. And that's why thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Here for you guys. You're welcome.
That was the biggest struggle for me, is not knowing what I was doing and not caring about learning how to do what I was doing.
Well, we'll start back with Jason. Jason, what is your favorite video that you've ever created and why?
My favorite video that I've ever created?
Let me pull up my analytics.
Wow. I would say my favorite video that I've ever created was an interview that I did with someone who manages a large freshwater fish, or actually fish wholesaler, when we went to APET. And the reason why I really enjoyed that video, I enjoyed the conversation because we got to sit down for about 45 minutes and really get into the nitty-gritty about what it means to keep fish, what it means to keep fish healthy. I actually titled it the most important video I've ever done, or something like that, because it was cool, because all the video was actually B-roll of the wholesaler, which was cool because there's tons of really awesome fish, but it was the conversation. It was the most excited I'd ever been about having a conversation concerning fish and fish health. So it was awesome.
That's great. Thanks. Taylor?
Favorite video I've ever done. That's hard. I have 2. Can I have 2 of them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, my favorite video I've ever made, quality wise, I feel like I made just a little while ago. It was on Betta fish breeding, genetics, and form. And in this video, I made graphics, I made animations, I did so much to try to teach people about show form, essentially for wanting to compete in beta shows, specifically with like half moon fish. And that's probably one of my favorite videos I've ever done. I really want to do more informational, educational content like that. But I also have like silly videos that I just enjoy making that you just have to have every now and then. You have to enjoy what you're doing. The last video I made on my channel was probably the cheesiest, most horrible video ever, but also the most awesome, because it was Halloween themed. And it's just putting lots of cheese into my videos I really enjoy. Therefore,
did the driftwood actually knock you out?
What was that?
Did the driftwood actually, make you go unconscious?
No, my driftwood didn't knock me out. It
Okay.
possessed me. Yes.
Sorry.
Just to make that clear. Thank you.
Favorite video. So, so, so favorite video of all time for me. I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite video. I have a favorite time, a favorite chunk of time when I was making videos. And when I look for inspiration or when I need ideas, I go back to that time period. And it was definitely for me like mid 2017 to early 2018. I watched those videos and I don't know who that guy was. I thought he was, I watched them. I thought those videos were so great and I wish I could do that again. And I wish I had that in me. And it was a time period of my life that I, as a YouTuber, that I missed the most. But when you've been doing it for a very long time, you're going to always have those moments, and you got to move forward and instead of keep looking back. I hope that my next video will always be my favorite video, and I hope that it comes across that I'm putting in the effort, that this is going to be my next best video. So my current video is always my favorite video. And that's the mentality that I had at one point, and I've lost it over the while. I think I was juggling too many balls, and I think that moving forward, I got to get that mentality back where every video is my favorite video, and you put that type of love and passion and excitement into it, and you cannot wait to see what people think, as opposed to, I got to put a video. I haven't put a video out for a few days. I got to get a video out. And so if I had to narrow it down to an actual favorite video, I'm sorry for going so long. There's a video where my sharks hatched, and I really enjoyed the process of making that video, and the ups and downs, and the it's like the excitement behind it. And I've watched it like 8 times, and it's hard to replicate that. But it was on the spot. I'm too emotional about this stuff. I'm doing this too long. I go up for hours. All right, enough.
I don't know about the other people up here, but I feel like for me, my favorite videos are the ones where I just totally stop caring about how the video is going to perform. So like for me, that video was boxing a mantis shrimp, where it just like the story and the characters and just like the production of everything just sort of took over. And it was a lot of fun to make. And I think once you get into what Joey was talking about just now is called like a flow state, where you just stop caring, and you're really like in the zone, in the moment, and you're not thinking about the future outcome of the video. You're very much so in the present of making the video. Those are the ones that are the most fun. So for me, that was mantis shrimp, and also breaking into Area 51. So
Nice. I have 2 answers, and one of them I can't use, which I would say my 2019 Aquashella video, but because I'm sitting here next to the half owner of Aquashella, I don't want to be seeming like I'm a brown noser. I loved that video. Nobody watched it, so don't worry. But did you? Nice.
I watched them all.
Thanks for sharing it and subscribing and liking. But in all seriousness, my favorite is a little video. You just hit it on the head. I didn't care. I put it out just for fun. I wasn't even in it. It was a completely voiceover video that Lisa and I made about a little betta. I say beta, you say betta, who cares? I wasn't talking to you, Taylor. I was talking to them.
Fine.
But she got a betta from the store that was heavily deformed and was going to die, but she brought him back to life. It was a little crown tail that was a mess. She named him Bubbles because he looked like the character from the Trailer Park Boys. We did a video of him, and she did a little voiceover. Joey talks about getting emotional. I get emotional when I watch that video. So if it brings out emotion like that, you won. And nobody watched the video, and I could care less. It made no difference to me. I loved it, and that's all that matters.
All right, guys. James got a question.
All right, so I would like to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Excluding that cliche answer of my first video, do you have a video that you look back at and kind of cringe or go, oh man, I wish that I hadn't done that like that?
Well, I've definitely got an answer for you there. A lot of the advice that was given early on about when you're first starting and the quality of your videos and trying to make sure that your quality is as good as it can be based on your knowledge. It wasn't one video, it was a series. It was a beginner series that I did early on, probably within the first year of me doing YouTube. The lighting was horrible. The audio was horrible. I don't think I used a single piece of B-roll. It was just bad. The moral of the story is I went back and redid that series about a year ago. 2 of those videos are now in my top 10 performing videos. So the moral of the story is this. If you do videos now that are maybe informational based, and in a couple years from now, you're like, I think I could do better, redo them because you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot over the more videos you put out, the more you're going to learn. And that's what we did. That's what I did. And it was a much better situation. It's a whole bad series.
I can't think of a video that like a specific video I look back on and cringe, because if I could think about it, I'd probably just go back and delete it. But yeah, like early videos where your sound is bad and your lighting's bad, those are easily cringeable if you go back and look at those. But the trick is, don't look back on the old videos because you'll just cringe and want to delete them. It's not productive. I know it's not a very good answer, but I can't think of a specific video which is just the worst.
I can. So let me tell you about this video she did a year ago.
Stop it.
I feel like if you wait long enough, you're just going to cringe at all your videos, right? Like, I mean, most people go through so many changes over the course of like their life, right? I look back at all my really young videos. I don't know. I cringe at them a little bit, but I think over a long period of time, I think like 3 to 5 years, or in the short term, whatever, 1 to 5 years, you're going to look back at the content and cringe. But I think like over 10 years, which I've had the luxury of looking back at videos that are 10 years old. And I think you like honestly are just mostly impressed with yourself. It goes from like cringe to whoa, like I had some balls at that age, for me at least, to like be making, just putting myself out there. And so as a creator, like I said earlier, you got to do that regardless. And the sooner you get over that hump, the better. But cringe, like actual individual videos of mine that I don't like anymore. Hello. There's none that really come to mind, but like definitely some of my college videos for sure, where I was probably like going through my weird hair phases and I had like yellow blonde hair, and yeah, I'd say that was probably the weird phase for me.
We going to Joey or we going to me? I just want to say I'm offended that you asked that, because all of my videos are perfect. I've never made a mistake. How dare you insinuate that I would have ever made one that I disliked? No, I can't. I can't think of a specific video, and I'm actually frustrated because everybody answered like all the things that I wanted to say. I don't look at old videos and cringe. I mean, I kind of do, but I look at them and it makes me think I've come a long way, like you said, and I'm proud of what I'm doing now. I've progressed. I'm doing better now. And there's still things that I can improve, but that's what watching the old videos for me does, is makes me appreciate, like, okay, I've taken the next step. I'm doing a little bit better now. I got her involved, which was a huge plus for the channel. So that's, yeah, I don't know what more to say. Again, how dare you? Joey skipped it.
Hold on. We'll let Joey answer his question.
My question is a little bit, I guess, two-folded, but when have you ever run into a time where it becomes hard to get excited or come up with that idea to keep your flow going? And when it has happened, or if it has happened, what did you do to kind of reset and be able to come up with creative content instead of just putting videos out to put them out?
So the answer is absolutely. I don't know if there's a single creator out there. If you do it long enough, you're going to get tired. There's a real thing, that creative burnout. It happens. I've never met a single person who does this who hasn't experienced that. And in fact, we've already kind of touched on it. What do I do about it? Is you have to go back, and it's already been mentioned. Joey mentioned it. You have to remember, is this still something you love? And for us, it's keeping fish. Go back to the first principles. Do what you love the way you love to do it. Don't get caught up in the analytics and what people need to see and what they want to see. You still have to be true to your interest, because as has already been said, if you don't do that, it's putting stuff out. People are going to see that. So what I generally do is take a step back. What is it that what's going to excite me? Is that a different fish? Is that a new tank setup? Is that a topic? Is that a series like, what KGTropicals does, puts out these series? And I know you get really, really excited about that. I'm taking away your answer, but that's what I get.
Thanks,
happens when you
Jason.
go first.
There you go.
So for me, it's not so much that I get burnt out creatively. I have so many ideas. I have so many ideas all the time that I have to write them down or I'll forget. And I just have like pages and pages of all these fun, creative ideas I want to do so bad. But then my problem is that I literally don't have time in my day to do all this stuff, because I was like, okay, I'm a full-time mom. I have a job. I do this. I do that. And all this stuff is just, the aquarium hobby is just on the side. It's this little love of mine. So my burnout happens when I'm so exhausted from all the work I've done all day. And now it's like, okay, well, now I have to spend 3 hours filming. And that's where the burnout happens for me. So it's not always just creative and coming up with ideas. Sometimes it's just the actual like physical and mental exhaustion of life that gets in the way. And I just completely shut down, and I'll disappear for a month, and then I'll come back like normal again. I just need rest. Just rest sometimes. And naps. And a cookie.
Creative burnout? Is that what we're talking about? Creative burnout.
What do you do to alleviate burnout?
Oh. So I've questioned myself when I would actually burn out, or when I'd run out of ideas, or and I feel like I just can't burn out, and I can't run out of ideas, because the hobby is just so massive, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to know. There's no such thing as an expert in the aquarium hobby, but there are experts in niches within our hobby. For me, my problem is when trying to control things that are happening in your personal life and not letting it affect your channel or your videos, because it's incredibly difficult, especially over the span of 13 and a half years, to not lose a family member or not go through something absolutely fascinating, but you still turn that camera on, you still smile, and you still try to inspire other people, because that is my getaway. That is my relief. That is my therapy, is to make videos and to talk about something that I love. So for me, when my videos are not doing well, a lot of the times it's an indication of something is happening in my personal life. And when you're an up-and-coming YouTuber, your life's going to be pretty consistent for a year or 2 or 3 years. But imagine over the past 13, 14 years, your life has changed dramatically. You're not the same person you once were. People come in and out of your life. You've lost people, etc. So I don't think I question when it will happen, but I just don't think this is the only thing I've ever been good at, and the only thing I've ever been accepted at. And I just hold on to it.
Yeah, I think that was actually a very good answer. But burnout's going to happen unless you really love what you're doing. So I feel like you just have to really, really love what you're doing, because if you don't, there's going to be someone else who loves what they're doing more. And then you're just going to, it's going to be hard for you. So I would say you just have to pick a topic, right? Something in your life that you're so super passionate about, that you love so much, that when you wake up in the morning, you just like, that's all you want to do. But I would.
How's it feel?
Yeah, that's it. I think Joe had a great answer.
I am very fortunate in that I have that crazy woman over there that her and I can bounce ideas back and forth off of each other. And the good thing is, if I'm blank, she has a bunch of good ideas. And if she's blank, which of course is never, but if she can't come up with any ideas, then maybe I can. So we have that. But when I experience burnout, I get around others that do what I do. And whether it's events like this or just getting Jason on the phone, or if George would ever answer my calls, I would call him. Joey answers my calls now. But anyway,
I'll let it go.
but that's what I do. I
I
get
did
around.
not have sexual relations with that woman.
Mic even on.
I don't think any of the
You
microphones
cut
are
that
on.
mic, right? You
Oh,
cut
the mic's
mic.
off. The mics are off.
No, the mics
So,
are
yeah,
off.
What I do is I surround myself with others that do what I do, and that helps. Every single time I've ever been around, whether it's a small club or a crowd like this, I get so inspired. You can't help but get inspired.
I think the YouTube people still can hear your mics out.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, sorry, YouTube.
How many people we got on here, Rob?
Yes.
Let's go.
How important are thumbnails and how much energy do you guys put into them?
Here we go.
I have learned over time that it is one of the single most important things that you're going to do. You hear a lot of experts talking about having the thumbnail, having the title, everything ready before they ever shoot the video. I never understood that early on. I never fully comprehended what that meant. Whoa. As I've grown into YouTube, I've realized that it doesn't matter if you're putting out great content if nobody's going to click on it. So if you've got a horrible thumbnail where you're in mid-sentence and you're doing, I mean, we've all done. I've still got old thumbnails where you can see I'm in mid-sentence and I'm just doing some weird thing because that's just whatever YouTube gave me. But in the end, if I put a lot of thought into titles and thumbnails because that's going to be your click-through, and that's nothing else matters if people aren't clicking on your videos.
Thumbnails are so important. I highly recommend to people to have a consistent looking thumbnail too. It's like for me, I always have like my little fishy logo in the corner and big kind of bold, annoying letters. And then like maybe there's a little picture of me in it and my subject, but it's mostly consistent throughout my videos. And I feel like that's really important too. Thumbnails are so important. I wish I knew that earlier on too. But yeah, what he said about planning your videos around thumbnails and titles, that's smart. I should do that more. See, I'm learning. Learning.
Just come here.
Whoa, what's
I
happening?
think it's just
Is your
phone there.
phone?
You turn your phone off, and now the feedback's going. And it's your turn. Back to me? Yeah. How important are thumbnails and stuff?
So I'm not good at thumbnails anymore, but the way I used to look at them is the idea of Netflix. When you're scrolling through Netflix, do we really read the titles? Are we really looking for something? We're looking for something to watch, and whatever catches your eye. So what we're looking to do is to make a movie poster every single time. The title of the video is for ranking. The thumbnail is for click. Is that the question? Like how important? It's so it's just it's very important. Yeah, it's important. I agree. I concur.
You looked at me. I haven't said anything yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like a father figure.
Oh, thanks.
Hey,
Son,
Dad.
you're being rude, son. Stop.
I'd say it's like 50% of the success of the video. So 50% is big enough. I spend probably sometimes more time on the thumbnail than I do the actual video. It seemingly happens more now than ever. Because it's just YouTube is so competitive, right? And you're competing against millions of other videos. So it's got to be good. And that's it. It's 50% against millions of people. So yeah, I spend hours, days. I think probably the longest I've ever spent is maybe like a week and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
On a thumbnail?
This is definitely the most highly debated topic in all of YouTube. Here's the deal. We all know if you're going to make money on YouTube, you make money like this guy by getting 3 million views a month. So to get those views, the reality is you can have the worst video ever. If it has a good thumbnail, you can get 1 million views. But a terrible thumbnail on the best video ever, nobody's going to watch it So in my opinion, it's everything. I mean, the thumbnail is 100% everything. There's a reason why Big Macs look so perfect on commercials. I mean, they want it to look appealing, and they're appealing to me in any condition. But, you know, it's the first thing people see. It's what makes the sale. And if you're not putting time into thumbnails, you're not doing it right. And I'm saying that as someone who doesn't put nearly as much time into thumbnails as I should.
All right, my question is about analytics. How much do y'all study it and base y'all's videos off analytics?
I really, this is going to sound weird, but one of my favorite things about YouTube is the analytics. I love analytics. I love to study them. I love to pick them apart. I know we've had conversations before about analytics. I'll talk to anybody about analytics for hours on end. Personally, my two most important analytics, one is click-through rate, because again, if people aren't clicking on the video, none of the other stuff matters. But the other thing that I for me is really, really important is the average retention rate. So once someone's clicking on your video, how long are they watching? And I've got my videos in my mind, my analytics dialed into the point where I know with a certain length of video, understand that your retention rate is going to be different depending on the length of your video. I know exactly where I want to be based on how long my video is. So those two things for me are by far the most important, because once those two things happen properly, once you get the click-through rate with your subs initially, once your subs are watching for an extended period of time, that's when good things happen. That's when the suggested stuff starts happening. And we were talking the other night, one of my favorites is when you start to see the external in YouTube analytics, and that's when Google picks it up. And so then when people are searching for that topic, Google, not YouTube, but Google's like, hey, watch this. And you'll see a massive spike. You'll see, oh, this video's too good. Wow. And you'll look at your analytics overall. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Oh, something went external. And you'll see that big giant spike. But you need those two things before that will happen.
So I get lessons on analytics from this guy. And because of that, I know what tags are and good titles. But I'm very much project-based. And I don't always do the best job when it comes to focusing on analytics. And my channel probably doesn't do as amazing as this guy's because of that.
That's pretty darn good.
Yours does really, really good, but you've been really on top of all the back end stuff, which I don't really understand very well. But maybe that's a weakness of mine, or my channel is not paying attention. There's my answer. I don't know.
Joey? Analytics. So I remember when analytics came out, and how fascinating it was, and how you could build your channel, and how interesting it was, and how encapsulated you can become. But I find that with access to that type of information, you become obsessive over it, and you're driven by what people want as opposed to what you want to do. So I don't care anymore. I haven't cared about analytics for a few years, and it's interesting to look at and talk about, but I don't feel that I hold much weight talking about analytics anymore, because I just don't look anymore, because they made me miserable. I was chasing numbers as opposed to chasing my passion, so I just stopped.
Yeah, analytics, you can go down a rabbit hole, and I don't think I probably don't look at analytics enough, but I think I understand the pre-analytics. I guess analytics refers to like post-production, right? How your video performed. But I think about analytics while I'm shooting the video and before I'm gonna shoot the video. And then if I do that correctly, I don't even have to look at it post video, because I already know what's gonna happen. Like, it's gonna do well if I prepare it accordingly. So you have to understand how YouTube works more so than, I mean, because data, I love looking at the data. That stuff fascinates me. Everything in the. Who's messaging you, Robert? Yeah, so I like to look at it. It's a lot of fun, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like majority of the time it's just telling me stuff I already know about my videos. So.
It's the worst being in the last position, because
yeah, I was about to say, literally, we just say everything you probably want to say.
I mean, there's literally nothing left to say. But listen, everybody loves a pat on the back. Everybody loves to get that attaboy when you do something right. And in most situations, We don't get that with analytics. You get that the instant that you upload a video. So it's nice to be able to see that and get real happy when a video does well. And then when you go into it and you have a video that you think should do well and it totally bombs, then you hate analytics. But I'm a believer in, if you're a brand new channel, you shouldn't be spending, where'd he go? Oh, I wouldn't spend all that much time on analytics in the very beginning. Because like Joey said, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're going to spend all this time, you're going to obsess over it. You're going to think the numbers are telling you things that it's not telling you. Focus on making good content, teach people things, bring value. That's all you need to do in the very beginning. And then once you have a catalog and you have some reference, then analytics will be a good tool for you.
I'm good for one more question.
If y'all could do a collaboration with anyone across all of the YouTube platform, who would it be and why?
I know.
Then you go first.
With anybody, like all across YouTube? Yeah. Oh, it'd be Mr. Ballin. I love Mr. Ballin.
Oh, God,
Mr. Ballin is the best storyteller, and I don't know how I would collab with him. I don't know. Maybe he could tell the story of my creepy driftwood, which is it's a long story. But I love him, love Mr. Ballin, and I totally figure out a way to integrate that. Maybe like I could have a tragic, crazy fish tank story, and he could tell it. That would be my collaboration with Mr. Ballin.
Thanks for that. Gave me a moment to think. That's a great question. That's a great one. I think I have. Can I just have two of them because it's a tie? Fort9, which he's like a motorcycle guy. If you've never seen Fort9, the guy is, even if you're not in motorcycles, he tells a story. He could tell a story about a chicken sandwich for 30 minutes. And I'd be like, that's the coolest video I've ever seen in my life. So Fort9 would be one. And then for like the action one, it's got to be Demolition Ranch. Yeah, that would be a real fun one. So get him. What's that? Yeah. Demolition Ranch? You know Matt? Oh. Oh, well, those are the two. Well, now it is about you. You can go ahead and do your.
You're so gullible.
You can do your collaboration.
What?
Yeah.
You love them.
Welcome to the party, Joey.
It depends on the time frame, because I've liked a lot of YouTubers. For me, I would want to collaborate whoever my son's favorite YouTuber is at the time, so he could finally think what I'm doing is cool.
That's a good one. Yes.
It is, yeah. It just totally depends, because you go through these phases on YouTube, and then you think about, well, what would be best for the channel, but which would bring me the most like satisfaction, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's a good question. I think. Yeah, I've done some big ones. I think, I don't know. Like, for me, Mr. Beast is like, everyone wants to think, oh, that's what you should choose. But I personally don't watch Mr. Beast, and I just don't think it would. Yeah, I feel like the answer's got to be someone you actually watch. I feel like obviously all these channels are people you watch. Who do I watch on YouTube enough?
KGTropicals.
Yeah. That's who I don't watch enough. It's so tough. I think maybe Casey Neistat, just because I think at the end of the day, he's going to go down in like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now. He's going to go down as someone that was like innovative. He's going to be like the Steven Spielberg of YouTube. And I like the idea of like, he's not doing his thing right now on the YouTube space so hard anymore. But like in the future, I think that guy's work is going to be like in a museum. I really think YouTube is going to be this place where like all this old art and video art is stored. So probably Casey. Sorry.
Good job, George.
Sorry.
There's 3 or 4 people in this room right now that knew that's what I was going to say. Thanks a lot. So no, mine would be, to me, Casey Neistat is the best that's ever done it. But the best one doing it now,
People used to say,
really?
Oh, that's not good.
It's Robert Van Winkle, of course.
All right, let's wrap it up.
It is Mark Rober.
Demonetized.
Who asked that question?
Mark Rober's good.
Who asked that? I don't remember. Yeah, it would be Mark Rober, only because that's the guy that he can make a video about that garage door and it'd be 45 minutes of the most entertaining material you've ever seen in your life. And he does big, wild, crazy things. He's the best YouTuber in the world right now. And that's who I would do that with. Yeah. Damn right he is.
Okay. We're getting demonetized, so this is going to end right now.
Yeah. Turn the radio off.
All right. Good talk.
You're done. Are we all done?
I'm Shanna with 503 Aquatics, and my question is not about the best YouTuber. My question is how you feel about colorful language and streams and videos geared specifically towards adults.
What did she say?
Foul language
So,
in live streams.
When I started my YouTube channel, it was started with my two boys. And at the time, they were probably, well, it's been 4 years, so maybe 12 and 9, 13 and 10. And I said from day one that there would never be a word spoken on my channel that I couldn't speak before parents and their 6-year-old kids. That doesn't just pertain to what I do on my videos. It pertains to any guests that I have, but it also pertains to the comments sections of my videos. I will not allow, I've got a banned words list that's 65 miles long, and I don't want any language on the comments, on replies. I won't even allow people to argue in my comments. You get that enough in the real world, right? I don't want that in a fish related video. So no language, no, there's not going to be any other people down, both on my channel for myself. You'll never hear me say something derogatory towards another human being on my channel. And that feeds right through the comments and everything else, and who I associate with for the most part too.
With my channel, I keep it pretty polite. Like I don't talk bad about anyone. I don't curse. But I feel like that's the audience that I've cultivated, and that's just what I do. But if we're talking about YouTube in general, I just think it depends on your audience and who is your audience and what does your audience want to hear and what are they used to hearing. And I think it's really subjective towards your content and what you want to put out there.
Was the question colorful language?
Yeah. What do you think about using colorful language?
I don't think anybody on YouTube in the aquarium world uses colorful language. I don't even. Instagram's another story, but YouTube just doesn't happen. I keep it pretty PG. I mean, maybe I said like little curse words here or there on YouTube at times over 900 videos or whatever. But I mean, I'm an adult, and I guess I think that there's 10 million channels so to choose from to watch. I don't know. I think that there's a place and a time, I guess. For YouTube, I don't think any YouTube aquarium channel uses colorful language on their channels, YouTube channels.
If they do, they're not around long.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So anybody that's ever had a private conversation with me knows that I do not feel this way when it comes to not being on camera, because I've got the worst mouth in the world. My wife yells at me for it almost daily. But on YouTube, the reality is if you are cursing, you are going to limit your audience, like Joey said, because there's a lot of people, even myself, believe it or not, as foul as my mouth is outside of YouTube, I'm turned off by people who don't know how to control themselves. Like Joey said, there's not really any fish channels that I know of that are doing that. But even if I watch a channel that has nothing to do with fish, I'm like, couldn't they have figured out an easier way to say things rather than using curse words? So yeah, I think you're kind of limiting yourself, and you're stabbing yourself in the back if you use foul language.
For sure.
Hi, I'm Carrie with Science Gal Aquatics. And how do we get the viewers that are coming in for like the one-time thing, like how to clean an aquarium? How do we get them to actually stay around, subscribe, and like fall in love with the hobby and not just come in for like one how-to video?
That video needs to be a really high quality video. They will stick around for quality. They will stick around when you feel, this goes back to the very first thing I said. Your number one goal is to provide your audience, your viewers, with something. And by the way, when I said something of value, that can be educational, that can be entertainment, it can be both. But if they're coming in for that video on how to clean their fish tank, they're interested in the fish keeping hobby. How good was that? Was it a high quality video? We're like, oh, wow, that was really, I learned something. In that case, I learned something. Do you have a playlist where I can learn more? I've built my entire channel around the educational side, and hopefully when people click on those videos that I've given them everything they need and everything they could have thought of and all the questions I think they might have, so that when they've got another question, they know, okay, I'm going to go back to that channel and see if they've got something for that. And if it's been a little entertaining, maybe, then they'll watch more.
Yeah, that's like one of the big questions is, oh, somebody comes and watches me. How do I get them to keep coming back? And I don't think there's any magic answer. It depends on the person who's watching it. It depends on, like, for me, in my mind, I think to myself, how can I channel my strange amount of enthusiasm towards the hobby, like, into my video and try to get other people enthusiastic, and hopefully that'll get them interested and watching and enjoying, like, with me. But that is a tricky question because there's no one size fits all answer for something like that. It's very individual. But good quality, nice quality content, interesting, like a lot to say, saying a lot in a little amount of time. I'm really good at that, talking pretty fast. That's what I do.
Once again, what am I supposed to say now? I mean, there's nothing left to say except for I look like an idiot wearing these headphones.
No, you look nice. You look nice.
Y'all aren't wearing them, so I can't wear them. This is going to be weird. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make, and I certainly used to do this before, is talking to a new audience like they know you. If you're brand new at this and you're putting stuff together and you're talking to your viewers like they know you, if they don't know you, they're going to be like, I don't know her. Why is she talking to me like we're friends? And also, if you go hard right off the bat, one of the things that you see me rarely do is ask for subscribers, and that's probably a mistake. If I do that, I do that at the end. But I see a lot of people, the first thing they say, share this video, subscribe, like it, comment below, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. Why am I going to watch this person? So I completely agree with what they said. Give them content throughout the entire, good quality, value through the whole thing, and don't berate them with a bunch of follow me here, follow me there, and talk to them like they've never seen you before.
And John, I was gonna say the same thing if you didn't address it. One thing that one thing that really annoys me when I'm watching other channels is, and click the bell icon and subscribe and share. It's like, all right, maybe when YouTube was a new thing, people needed to be told that. But trust me, 3-year-old kids at this point know if they're interested in your content, they know how to subscribe. They know what the bell icon means. They understand all that stuff. You really don't need to tell people anymore.
And if I also say, hey guys, follow me on Facebook, you would all laugh at me. But that's what you're doing when you're talking to somebody you've never seen before in your life, and the first thing you say, subscribe, you look desperate and you look silly. Not you.
I know that was directed towards me.
Hey, girl.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. I kind of knew the answer, but this is a question for new YouTubers out there that might want to quit because of something like this. What do you do? How do you handle negative comments and trolls?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How do you deal with negative comments and trolls so you don't want to quit because of hurt feelings and stuff like that?
If you are putting yourself out there in a public space, be 100% assured at some point you're going to get negative comments. And these negative comments sometimes are going to have almost nothing to do with the content that you just put out. It's just going to be about you. It's going to be, your head's too big, your head's too small, you talk too fast, you're an idiot. I can't tell you how many comments I get like that every week. I don't care. You have to get to a point where you can just tell me you're the worst, ugly moron. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a loser. I don't care. You know what I do? Block. That's it. Because again, it goes back to there's not gonna be any swearing. It's gonna be safe for kids. I don't want a lot of arguing in the comments. And if all they're doing is coming back, it's one thing to say, I disagree with what you said, and here's why, that's fine. But if it's just going to be a personal attack or you're a moron, well, I don't want you as part of the community. Bye. And that's done. It's over. So, but you have to be able to mentally just ignore it. Think about the person who left that comment. Think about what you have to be, where they are mentally, to sit down, take time out of their day, and write, "You're a moron, you're a loser, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah." Think about where they are in their life, where that's something that they actually did in the course of their day. That's not your problem. That's theirs. Feel sorry for them. Honestly, and Gary Vee, I know you watch Gary Vee sometimes. He's made a point of saying you should feel sorry for them and genuinely have compassion, but don't allow it on your channel.
Yeah, there comes a point where you just start to develop a thick skin, and mean comments don't really mean anything anymore. They just kind of make you giggle because they're silly.
We'll share them.
And at first, like when I first started YouTube, I might have had my feelings hurt when it came to having like a mean comment. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, they just insulted my hair.
How dare they?"
Oh, or something stupid like that, and I might actually feel bad. But now I just don't feel bad at all. And I kind of like it. It's nice. You can choose to ignore the trolls.
Or you can send them to your friends and be like, "Look at the comment I just got."
Yeah, I do save them sometimes and share them with my husband, and we laugh.
Okay. So I agree. Again, can I go first next time? If there's another question, can I go first?
All right. Yeah, you can go first.
I completely agree with everything they said. But on that note, I mean, I'm somebody, I think I probably get way more hate than you guys do, and probably deserve it. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that it never bothered me. Not saying y'all are about lying. I'm not saying that. But for me, I only have to go back to last week on our live stream. Somebody in the first 2 minutes of the live stream, I've never seen this name before in my live stream ever. This person said, "John, do you have a double chin?" If anybody watched my live stream with Lisa last week, I was off, and it was because of that comment. I'm not going to lie to you, because yes, I do have a double chin, and it really bothers me.
You don't have a double chin.
Well,
you have a chin plus a goatee.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it does. I agree though 100%. When you look at it, there's a big difference between constructive criticism and just being mean. Constructive criticism, nobody likes to hear that either, but you can learn from that and gain something from it and get better because of it. But when people are just being jerks for the sake of being jerks, unless they ask you about your double chin, you just got to let it go.
And the other big piece of advice I would give you is do not respond in kind to those comments.
You will not
do
win.
not fire off. Sometimes it's going to make you angry, and you're going to want to fire off something like, "Oh, I'm the moron, but blah 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 blah." Let me just tell you this: don't do it. Do not do that, because that's a screenshot away from you ruining who you really are. Because you might have a bad minute or two, like, "Wow, they said that. Well, let me just fire off a response." You're going to regret it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
That person that asked me if I had a double chin was probably 12. And I know you're watching.
It was me.
I know he's watching.
So coming back to the double chin. First of all, I'm Rob with Aquatics.
I take back what I said about Rob being the nicest guy in the industry.
Yeah.
No. So thanks, John. What are you guys most self-conscious about when it comes to creating content? Because I know a lot of people that first get into it, they hate the way they sound. They hate putting themselves on camera. Like, as people that have done it for so long, I guess, what is the most self-conscious thing you have now? Or if you don't have anything now, what has been something that has been a roadblock for you through the years?
Of course, I get to answer first.
Yeah,
I have
go.
no clue.
I had a good one. Oh, you want me to go?
I can go first.
I can go.
No, I mean, I can do it on this one. Don't take this away from me. It's my first time.
Go for it.
I'm self-conscious when I can see trolls coming. And this might get this table flipped right here, but like when Lisa and I make beta videos, I know there's going to be 50 comments of, "I can't take you seriously if you don't even know how to say the name properly." When I know it's coming, that's when it bothers me the most. So Rob asked the question, has no clue we're even answering the question.
That's okay.
How dare he? But
Sorry.
But no, that's when I know I'm doing something that is going to get me, get me crap for it. That's when I'm like, okay, buckle up. Here it comes.
Oh, what am I most self-conscious about? I would say how I look on camera, because being a lady on YouTube, you can get picked on if you have jerks in your audience, if you don't look perfect all the time. And it's hard, sometimes I am a full-time mom. Maybe I didn't sleep. Maybe I have like big scratch marks on my face from my toddler and food stains all over the place. And it can get a little rough. And on those days, I'm just like, I can't record. I just can't do it. And it actually holds me back sometimes. So that can be a big deal. That can be a big deal for me. It can be a big deal for my channel. But luckily, the baby's growing up, so things are looking up. Things are looking up. I'm actually getting some sleep, but that can be tough.
I'm really conscious about my earlobes. I just feel that they're weird. No, I'm kidding. My earlobes are just strange. They talk to me. No, I would say my most self-conscious thing, it's probably, I don't know, self-conscious, but if I make a mistake, especially when I'm doing the educational, like the other day, I called the dichrosis species. I said they were from Africa or West Africa. They're South Americans. I know that, but that video went out like that. And then you get the couple comments and you're like, wow, wait, I had to go back and watch. I'm like, did I really say that? Well, we got off on that video. We got off a little bit on the fish we were talking about. And I just went with that and then cut to the next thing. And it just came out wrong. So it's not a looks thing. It's not a sound thing. Being a teacher, I went through all that early, many years ago when you've got people, saying things. But yeah, it's more of a, if I make a mistake, just being aware that when I'm doing an educational video that I want to be very careful about what I say.
Well, that's great. Do you guys want to keep going? Do you want to be done?
I mean, it's up to you guys. If you've got questions, I'll answer them. If not, we'll call it a night and go to bed.
Yeah, I mean,
questions on the live stream?
What time is it?
8:30.
We got 8:30, so we still have some time. What's it like being a bald male?
I don't know, Rob. Why don't you tell me?
This isn't my Q&A here. This is you guys. Oh, hey. So yeah, there's a lot of bald guys around here. So I guess
what's it like being a bald male?
With the wig store next door, it's not.
It's okay.
A problem.
You just switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bald by choice, champ. And when my hair goes white, I've told this to everybody I know. I'm growing it out. I'm gonna be Gandalf the White, straight up, long white beard, long white hair. It's coming back. Give me 10 years because it's gray here. I just can't get the rest of it gray. But when it goes,
I hope you guys are gonna hear this at Aquatics. Prove it.
What's that?
Prove it.
Prove what?
Prove that you don't have hair loss.
What do you want me to do?
I want to see it back next year.
Oh, well, it's got to be gray.
Grow it out.
White, not gray, white.
Grow it out for 2 weeks.
Not gonna happen.
And then send me a picture.
Nope.
I guess you can't answer that, huh?
I already did. The wig store.
I think you can look at the top of my head and tell this is not by choice. I choose to take it the rest of the way off, but this is something I've been dealing with since I was like 25. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing when people say things like Vin Diesel and Steve Austin and Jason from Primetime. They compare me to those people. I like it, so I don't care. In fact, I will not film a video unless I have cleanly shaven.
Boom.
So,
how do you deal with the exposure?
The lights have to be at the proper angle, and
I haven't figured it out yet.
I can educate. I'm coming to your place in a couple weeks. We'll talk about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, Taylor, you are a mom, a businesswoman.
Yes.
You are you do so many things.
So
You're a voice actor.
Yes.
If people don't know that, you've been to Comic-Con. You've signed a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
Hundreds.
I'm
Hundreds
an
of
anime
posters.
voice actor. A very high-pitched little voice.
She's
very good for
also
cartoons.
an author. So, Taylor, my question to you is, how do you do it with so much going on?
I don't know. I don't know how I do all the things I do. It's because when I get bored, some people like to just sit down and relax. I like to go do things. And I like to go explore new things and new hobbies and new ideas. And because of that, I've done a lot of things in my life so far. And I guess that's my answer. I just enjoy doing a lot of things. It actually energizes me and invigorates me and makes me happy to do projects and learn new stuff. So that's just how I fit it in. That's how I fit everything in and it gets exhausting after a while.
I
So
bet.
that's why I need to like take a month break and then go again and then take a month break.
Well, how about this for all of you? What is your hobby outside of YouTube and aquariums?
Well, probably the two main things is going to the gym 4 days a week. And it's been especially fun now that the boys are old enough to go as well. And then we do karate together. But those are probably two of the other things that consume the most time outside of this.
Nice. When I'm not doing all the things I do, I like to dance. I like to goof off and go listen to my EDM music and like shuffle dance and be silly. And I like to stream and I like to play games and play my VR games. And that's kind of what I do that's currently what I'm enjoying in my non-fish time.
I don't really have anything to do.
Nothing.
So it's basically whatever Lisa tells me we're going to go do. That's what I do. My favorite thing would be woodworking, which I'm not able to do right now. I'm not going to go through all the reasons why, but that would be what, if I'm desperate for something to do, that's what I'm going to go towards every time.
That's great. John, for you, what's it like being a couple on YouTube?
I gave one of the reasons earlier of why it's an amazing thing. Jason can attest to this too, having that next layer, that additional layer where, there might be a lot of people that don't connect with me for whatever reason, but they might connect with her. And so it gives you that extra dimension. I should have said dimension instead of layer, but
everybody please check their booths if you have any Amazon boxes that are labeled for the shelf.
It's always fun when this happens.
It's always you.
It does. Usually this is happening during your talk, though.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen during that. Thanks, we will. But yeah, I mean, to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, get inspiration off of each other, and maybe I'm off one week, she can take over, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's huge. Best.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. It's brought a completely new dimension to have the two of us doing it together. I would say that Joanna probably comes up with 80% of the video ideas at this point for Primetime Aquatics, plus her own channel. So it's pretty cool, and her ideas are better than mine. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it would have been really cool for me to answer that question with my wife present, but
she's
MIA.
She's wandering around.
She's out buying plants.
Well, yeah. If you got a question, come on up.
So how do you deal with the jealousy thing? Because you guys got to take the spotlight and they got to get jealous. So how do you incorporate them to let them shine on their own?
Wait, jealousy?
Who's jealous? What do you mean?
With your wife's being involved.
Oh, that doesn't happen in my
No.
situation. No, I mean, it's...
He knows Lisa's cooler.
Well, I was doing this for 6 years before she got involved with it. So that doesn't happen. She has no reason to be jealous of me. So I don't deal with that. And
Yeah.
I'm not jealous of her either, because the more attention she gets, the better we all do. So, hey,
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Primetime Aquatics is us. It's not me. It's not her. So if I can honestly say, if the channel grew from where we're at now to 1 million subscribers in a week, and it was all because of Joanna, and I needed to step back, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I just wouldn't care. It's fine. If Primetime Aquatics is ours, she does great and I don't, so what? And yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, Lisa is in the building.
She's back.
She doesn't have any plants, though.
That means there's more money in my wallet still.
Jason, this is a question for you. What's it like running 2 channels as a couple?
Well, it's busy, and there could be a 3rd channel on the way, that second of Joanna's only. And yeah, it's busy. When you're editing between the 2 channels, 6 videos a week plus a live stream, and trying to keep the quality up and the ideas and laying that all out. There's a lot of work there. Luckily, we've been able to do it, but you manage your time. And if there's ever a time where running 2 channels or 3 channels means that we can do 3 videos really well as opposed to 6 mediocre, then we will scale back. So you have to just balance it, but it's busy.
Do you ever duplicate content, like same content for both channels, not same video, but same idea?
No, because the channels are different enough that we want them to stand on their own feet, right? So when it comes to nano, when it comes to plants, when it comes to aquascaping stuff, that's all the small scape. When it comes to the more educational videos, the species profiles, the larger tanks, the water chemistry, and that kind of educational stuff, that's Primetime Aquatics. So,
you know what, Jason? I think you and I should leave the stage, and those two should come up here.
Seriously, yeah, it's about time.
Let me do another question real quick before you do that. What separates your channel from other channels for each one of you?
I ain't taking that one first.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Say first. Nobody is quite as obsessed with Betta fish as I am.
That's true.
That's what separates my channel from
And
everybody
she's
else.
crazy.
I think that's actually my answer. I'm very specific about what I like to do and just like be really enthusiastic about it. I like my fish. I like my aquascapes. I'm like, look at all these crazy projects that I do that seem like way too much for me to actually handle, but I somehow get them all done all by myself. I feel like that's what separates my channel a little bit.
I have always tried to brand Primetime Aquatics as bringing in the science, because that was what I do. I'm a professor of biology and microbiology, and so what I hope the goal to separate Primetime Aquatics from some other channels or information is that we're trying to bring it in from, okay, this is a science-based opinion, and that's kind of how we roll with that. And not only having the educational background, but keeping fish for 42 years now. So
it's a really difficult one for me to answer because my channel and your channel are the fact that we're both married to beautiful women with dark hair and much more attractive than we are. There are so many similarities there. I don't know. I don't know.
I do.
What?
I do.
You know what makes my channel stand out?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
I think what makes your channel stand out is your ability to bring information that people can understand in an easily understandable way, and probably some of the most organized videos that I've ever seen. So,
thank you, Jason. Oh, that means a lot. I'm serious. Thank you. That's a hard question to answer.
No, it's not.
Thanks for doing that, Rob.
All right, so Rico asked this question. Rico, is it Rico Stan?
Oh boy,
got
Rico
it.
Stan!
Oh, so you guys watch out. Do you guys still see yourself doing this in 5 to 10 years?
Yes. I really enjoy YouTube. What I enjoy most about it really is the community side. So these next couple of days, this is the main reason why I do. If YouTube was only put out content goes into the ether where people see it, and there's never any communal aspect, I don't know if I would still be doing it. I think the things that I would have already done would have been sufficient to allow people to be successful in the hobby, and that'd be it. I'd be done. So because of the community, because of this, yeah, I could see us doing this for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I see myself doing it for a long time too. It's the only connection that I have to other people in the hobby. Like, I don't have neighbors or people nearby who really share the same interests as me. This is something I have to do online. And this is how I do it, and it's how I share what I enjoy doing. And that there's this little tiny part of me that creating this content like satisfies. Like, it makes me feel like complete is doing this and sharing it with people who have the same interests as me. So I definitely see myself doing it. Same capacity as like a part-time, just an occasional, maybe once a week video. It keeps me happy.
So I get to wake up every day and work when I want. I mean, I got work I have to do, but I can, if I want to wait till 11:30 or so to start, I can wait till 11:30 to start. If I want to work late, if I want to take 4 days off to go to Dallas, Texas and spend time with you beautiful people, I can do that. I absolutely love what I do. I consider myself extraordinarily lucky to do what I do for a living. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I make a decent living doing it. So yeah, definitely. I'm going to do absolutely everything I can to make sure that I'm still doing this 5, 10, 15. Can you imagine me?
Hey,
60
John.
years old.
Hi, how you doing, man?
62 years old, still making
you
videos
came.
about bettas and snails and shrimp.
By then they'll be betas.
I might need help
What'd you
carrying the
say?
tanks around at that point.
So here's a question. How do you guys determine like collaborations? Like when you're going to be on other people's channels or have people on your channels, like what kind of guidelines do you use or do you not do it at all? Like what's your guys' feedback on that?
For me, generally speaking, I like to know the person I'm going to be collaborating with. Like have personally met them usually helps. Not saying that I wouldn't collaborate with somebody I've never met in person, but it's much more likely if I know them fairly as a person, right? So I know what they're about. I know that the collaboration isn't going to be something that I'm having to apologize for in a year or 2 years or 3 years and be like, wow, yeah, how come you were associated with that person a couple years ago? I'm like, well, I didn't really know. And I tried to avoid that. So I choose collaborations very, very carefully.
I don't really do collaborations. I don't get invited very much.
It's a sad story.
Yeah.
You're always
Actually,
invited.
I don't actually have a whole lot of time, so I have to say no most of the time. I can hardly make my own scheduled content. And I do get a lot of requests. I get emails like asking, oh, will you be part of this project? Or will you be a part of that? And most of the time I just have to say like, sorry, I just can't do it. But it'd be nice if other YouTubers could invite me to
Oh,
do
you're a
some
part of a
fun
collaboration
things.
this weekend. You just don't know it
I
yet.
think you've been
Oh.
invited to be on mine and turned it down.
I think that's a big lie.
We'll argue about this.
All right, we'll argue about this later. I don't remember.
I think, I mean,
I
it's-
remember
I don't think it was a
nothing.
rude thing. But anyway, this just got weird, and I'm sorry about that. I enjoy collaborations. I don't think they help as much as small creators might think they do.
They don't.
I think that it's one of those things that kind of right off the bat, newer channels will think, well, I have to do this. I have to go on these streams and go on those streams. And I can make the argument that that doesn't necessarily help. But if I'm going to bring somebody on my channel, it's somebody that I enjoy watching. If I don't like them, I don't care if it's somebody that has 9 million subscribers. If I don't watch them, they're not going to do me any good if I don't like what they do. So, yeah, I got to like watching them. So, Mark Rober, anytime you want, my friend, come on. Got you.
And to follow up on that, because you just said something really important when it comes to the collaborations. And I know when I was a smaller YouTube channel, that was one of the things I was like, oh man, if I could just get the shout out. Oh man, if I could just be on their live stream. I was actually part of a collaborative effort that was a multi-month program. And I remember, at the time I was a relatively small channel, maybe 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers. And at the time, I remember the first month I did this collaboration, I got like 200 extra subs. I was like, wow. The next month it was only 100. The month after that, maybe it was 25 or 50 extra subs compared to what I was normally getting. But here's the thing. This is where that analytics part comes in.
Started losing
At
them.
the time, I had a certain, I actually track, okay, how many subscribers as a percentage do I lose? So of all the subscribers I gain every month, how many am I also losing every month? What was interesting is when I did that collaboration, even though I was getting extra subs, I was my unsub rate almost doubled. So the people that were coming on because of the collaboration weren't necessarily staying. They would sub, like, oh, this guy's, then you fill up their feed full of videos, like, all right, boom, done. So those collaborations, they really don't help, especially for if you're just getting started and that quality isn't quite where you want it to be yet. It can be very detrimental, because then what you've done is you said, okay, let's bring recognition to this creator. Now their content isn't quite at the level I'm used to. They might not look at you again because they remembered what they saw a year ago or a year and a half ago. So you have to be very careful with that,
You lost
especially
their
early
trust.
on. Yes.
All right, G. Duncan asks, have there ever been a time after the honeymoon phase of the hobby where you felt burnout and were no longer interested? So no longer interested in the hobby, or felt burnout on the hobby after initially like really getting into it?
Can I go first? Please?
Yes, you can go first.
Yes, there has been. Not since I've been on YouTube, that hasn't happened. But back in the day, I got that when I would push the hobby too far to a point where it became almost like a job. And it became too much. I was working on it too much, not enjoying it. And so keep control of the multi-tank addiction. That's the advice I would give. Quick and easy.
I've absolutely come to that point where I get burnt out and I just shut down and I can't do anything for a while. And it happens when I put too much on my plate. I get too overwhelmed. I work too hard. I become all work and no play, which is like my usual state, but even more so. I do get burnt out, and it is something that's real and that should be talked about. It's for me, it's about a work-life balance. And if I work too much, which I'm very, very prone to do, that happens to me and I burn out. And then I need to like take a nice long break before I come back. And it's happened many times, but I always come back because this is something that I truly enjoy doing, not just creating the content, but actually doing the hobby. When I'm not creating the content, I'm still doing the hobby because it makes me happy.
Amazingly enough, in the 46 years, there's been maybe a year or two stretch where I didn't have a fish tank up and running when we first moved in the house. I never got burnt out on the hobby. But I also am a big advocate when we talk on the channel about just what you said, John, and that is don't turn the hobby into a job.
Yep.
It's very easy when somebody first gets started, like, oh, I got a tank. That really felt cool. I loved it. It was exciting. Let me get a second one. Oh, that was really cool. I loved it. It's exciting. Let me get a third, a fourth. Especially over the last couple of years, I hear the same thing over and over again. Oh, I started with one tank. Now I've got 15. Or I hear more now. I started with one tank. I got 15. Now I'm back down to 8 and I feel much better.
Yep.
I will say that I'm in a unique situation where I don't and I'm very open about this. I do not do the maintenance on our 80 tanks. If I did, there would not be 80 tanks there because I don't have the time for that. So I have my boys, which are technically employees, and they do the maintenance. If they weren't there, I would have to figure out either auto water change or I would scale way back.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wouldn't get burnt out.
All right, good. Ooh, hello.
Thanks for that.
Surprise. Lady Metalhead asked for everyone, this is to you three, if tank size wasn't an issue, what fish would you love to keep?
You go.
It's Arapimas. Duh. What more needs to be said? Yeah. And it's because it's so unobtainable. Like I don't know anybody that has an Arapaima. Well, I guess Big Rich has one.
Yeah.
But it's just out of reach. There's no way I could treat them properly. So it would be Arapaima. Absolutely.
For me, I've never had a fish tank bigger than like 40 gallons. So my dream tank is like this big tank full of the cutest, wiggliest, wobbliest Ranchu goldfish that I've ever seen, just wiggling around, and like a bunch of them. So what, maybe like a 200-gallon tank, just filled full of goldfish with the amazing filtration and like auto water change would be my little dream tank.
I'd go with the grouper. Big, giant, 400, 500-pound fish. Yeah, it'll eat your Arapaima for lunch. It's like, oh, what are you feeding? Well, John's got these 6-foot Arapaima. My grouper just eats them. No, yeah, I'm on a more realistic setting. I might do a very, very large tank, like thousands of gallons, but with some type of a South American river sort of biotype, where it'd probably be packed with fish that aren't very big, but I would have tens of thousands of them. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, Jason, Taylor, and John, thank you guys so much for sticking through the entire time.
My
This was
pleasure.
fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We had Joey for a little bit, or a decent amount of time. We had George for a decent amount of time. We appreciate those. Those are both busy people, but appreciate you guys taking your time to talk with all of us here and everyone online. And we're looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a more professional experience as far as the live stream. This was very last minute, impromptu, but thank you guys so much. And I'll let you guys say your goodbyes and then we'll end it up.
I have no problem going last on this one.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much and goodbye, everybody. Have a great time. And hopefully you come check us out. If not, check out the live streams over the next couple days. They'll be pretty cool.
Yes, if you're not at Aquashella, check out those live streams. We're going to be having some fun here. And thanks so much for watching.
My absolute favorite thing to do is talk about YouTube. So this was a blast for me. Thank you all so much. And thank you all of the people that stayed here to watch. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.